Okay, so I think we are live. Hey, everybody. Can somebody let me know we can, if you can hear us and see us?
Who is yo mom?
Uh,
It's your
I'm not
mom.
sure. It's definitely not my mom.
It's definitely not mine.
definitely, definitely not. Um, so, um, yeah. Well, hopefully everybody can hear us. Yeah. Okay, I can hear and see you. Okay. Um, so Yeah. I just wanted to talk to you about my game, my West Marches game that I've been running. That's what I run as a weekly game. I've got two of my players here with me, Jason in the top right and Joe on the bottom. Um, we've been playing together now, gaming for what 6 years now, maybe something like that.
Oh yeah, total.
I think
Yeah, I've been in New York 6 years, and I met you like 3 weeks after I moved here. So yeah,
yeah,
six
so
years.
about 6 years. And Joe, I think we've
Yeah.
been playing. We played on and off here for several years now. I think, right?
Yes, sir.
At least it's been a while.
Long
But
while.
yeah, they're both in my long running campaign now. It's been a little over a year, maybe coming up on a year and a half. I think it was wintertime when we started. I probably should have checked the date on that at some point. But yeah, I think we're coming up on about a year and a half in the game. Um, so, but yeah, so it's a West Marches style game. It's not exactly what a West Marches actually is, but Ben Robbins coined the term back in 2007. And then I think it was popularized by a bunch of YouTubers back in the day, and then even up to current times. And I really think it's a play style that dates back from the early '70s, and then it's kind of evolved from there, and things have changed. A lot between then and now. I think the old style of gaming and the new style of gaming are really completely different from each other. Um, so, uh, but yeah, it's a format where the way Ben put it is that there's no session times. Players schedule whenever small groups are available to meet and go on adventures, and they usually have strict timekeeping so that you have cohesiveness between different groups, and that allows you to have a larger player pool, um, a larger stable of PCs and whatnot. Um, and then the way it would work is you would have a group of adventurers that would go out and that would do something on one week, and then maybe the next week or later in that week, a group of different adventurers would go out, and then the other players or adventurers they would still be out on that mission when when the second group went out, and then they would be able to pick up their characters again, when they came back, whether it was a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Um, and that's a similar style to the way that I run. Um, we do a weekly session on Sundays. It's a fixed session as opposed to just a random thing. Although I do have some things happening on the side. People doing some side things every now and again, or sending groups out to do other things. So we've been playing, like I said, for probably about a year and a half already, and we've had pretty steadily 6 players in the game. And if we get a lot more, or we can get a few more at least, I might open up more available time slots to do different sessions and stuff. But um, but yeah, that's kind of like what a West Marches is, and kind of the way I run. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
23 June of 2024 was our first session.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
I checked
so a
out my
year
notes and
and
Discord. So
nice.
yeah,
So
one
a
year,
year
two
and
months, and one
yeah,
week. There you go.
yeah, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so a little over a year. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, fun times.
I'm not sure like when it's appropriate to talk about whatever. So if I'm going off the rails, let me
Yeah,
know.
no, go ahead.
With the, you know, you and I talked about the game setup a lot before we started playing. We were going back and forth,
Oh, sure.
and the initial model was planned to be a West March, but can we really call it a West March anymore? I mean, it's just been 6 of us.
No, I mean, I guess it's really not. I mean, parts of it is and parts of it isn't, right? I mean, um, that's why I called it, what did I say, West March's style game or whatever.
Sure.
It's yeah, and like I said, like with the West Marches, quote unquote, that's kind of the phrase coined by Ben Robbins because that was his campaign. I think his campaign was called the Western Marches or West Marches, something like that.
I
and
didn't know
basically
that. I thought it was because they were going west, kind of like westward expansion.
Well, yeah,
on
well,
the
that was the thing in his game is
okay.
They were on like the eastern coast or whatever, and they were exploring the western
Okay.
reaches or whatever. So
Cool.
So that's why it got called that. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, obviously there's some things that I don't do. We don't have a huge pool of players. We don't have a huge number of players that are actually that are trying to schedule different things and have multiple sessions. And, we just have our weekly session that kind of everybody shows up to for the most part. I mean, I would expand it if there was more people that, that wanted to show up or whatever that fit the group, and the play
There's
style.
going to be, after this video, there's going to be a lot more people just emailing you like, hey, how do I get in on this?
Yeah. Who knows? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's maybe like, 100 people that watch this video will be,
if not 200
jump on it. So if we get to, I think for us to get 200 views on this video, it's going to have to sit out there for a handful of years. I don't know. But yeah, so like it's been going for a little over a year now. We started using Basic Fantasy RPG, and we started with that for a couple of reasons. One, because it's sort of a copy of Moldvay Basic, which was my first introduction to Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. I just fell in love with it. And it was very cheap to get into. You can, all the PDFs are free and the books are like $7-8, I think, for the soft cover books. And we ran that for probably 6 months or so. I mean, 8 months maybe.
It was a good amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, we ran it for a while, and then we decided to switch to something else. And we can have an entire probably hour-long discussion on different systems and whatnot, but ultimately we ended up yeah, right. Well, yeah, right.
I got a lot to say.
Yeah. Ultimately we settled on Castles and Crusades. It was just it was an availability thing. That there was a whole bunch of factors that kind of played into it. And I don't know if we'll switch again. I don't want to keep, jumping systems and changing things along the way. But there's definitely some things there that that we don't like. I mean, I it's probably fair to say that that's what it is for every system. Every system. Every system's going to have things that you like and things that you dislike. So, that's it's just kind of what we got to deal with.
Yeah, if when you start system hopping, like when we left Basic Fantasy, it was a necessity. The party and the players had outgrown Basic Fantasy. It really just wasn't doing it for us. But I think we were just hitting 4th level. Excuse me, when we did that. So it wasn't like we all had superpowers or anything. But even then, it was like, okay, how much experience is is it 1-for-1 experience point? Is it a straight level transfer? My guy had this and now he's got this. So just even going from a more mature system like CNC over to another mature system, Hyperborea, AD&D, whatever. Joe Block's AD&D. Just the switch over to that, I think it would be a hassle. And it sets a bad precedent. Oh, I don't like this system. We've been playing it for 13 months. I want to go to a different system, and that's me.
Yeah.
I've been one of the guys that's kind of vocal about CNC, and I love CNC, and I love the Troll Lords, but there are many things in that system that make me want to pull my hair out. But you can't just be like, well, this thing annoys me, I'm going to go find the one that I like.
Sure.
Because what I'm like, oh, okay, because I play the cleric in our campaign. So, if I look at AD&D and I'm like, oh, see the cleric and this is awesome. Well, the ranger might get hampered, and then Tyler's not going to be happy because we've messed his ranger over, or Joe's rogue gets messed over. So you really have to stick with one.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Unless the system is just like, okay, as a whole, like Basic Fantasy, this just isn't working for us.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. You definitely need to find a system, I think, that works for the group. As a whole, I guess. And definitely, there's definitely concessions to be made. Like you mentioned, I mean, CNC isn't perfect, but it works well enough. And it's easy enough to run and and play and figure things out. And
it's other than the gripes that we have, it's
Sure.
really player friendly. I mean, it's super easy to pick up. There are very few complicated rules. It's not like the opportunity attacks in 3.5 where everybody had a different opinion on what this rule meant. That we haven't run into a complication like that with CNC. So it's
not yet. Just some lost in translation things, but
going from OGL to Troll Lord specific.
But
interesting.
And we can probably do a whole video on just CNC, but and maybe we'll do that. Maybe we can get George on or something and see if we can.
I'm sure George would have a lot of insight into
CNC,
it.
Well, he hasn't switched to Reforged.
Yeah, he's sticking with the old school stuff.
So I think some of that would be fun. We got a question here from Riley, or definitely not Riley. What was your favorite experience in D&D? I don't even know how to answer that question. There's been like so many fun times, just so many great experiences.
That question makes me smile because immediately I have like happy memories flooding into my head. Of awesome D&D experiences.
Yeah. You got anything specific that comes to mind, or?
Joe, you want to go first? Because I do a lot of talking, so I don't want to be hogging the mic.
I mean, honestly, it's just kind of like the people you're playing with. I don't really have a specific, even if we extrapolate the question from like D&D to like all of role playing, it's for me, it's mostly like just different people I've played with and just the wacky things that have kind of happened along the way. So and there's way too many of them to get into. Even with just the current game that we've all been in, there's too many memories to just start getting into.
Sure.
Or pick a favorite. There's too many good times.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of good times that we've had, and a lot of really great experiences. I'm trying to think of anything that's come up in the last handful of sessions that's been really great. I can't think of anything that's suitable for the public.
Well, I have two, but I have a question for you, Roger.
Oh boy,
Before I go into my two, you DM more than you play.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any moments that like stick in your head as a DM? Oh my God, that worked out so perfectly. It's exactly what I was hoping would happen.
I think this is the part where I have to say that that I never tell. That happens a lot. I mean, I usually run pretty low prep for things. Obviously, occasionally I'll have a lot of high prep, things, or I'll print out a bunch of stuff or have things set up or ready to go. But for the most part, everything kind of runs, randomly. I mean, not exactly randomly. I mean, there's random encounters and things like that, but like, I kind of fill in the blanks and stuff as we go. I'm trying to think of any specific moments like that, where things have just gone absolutely perfect. I mean, there's been times. I mean, obviously, we had a fight the other day that never happened.
The Fire Giants.
Which probably was, in hindsight, that's probably the best way that could have.
We would not have survived that fight.
Could have happened. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as a GM, man, I don't know. I love like all the moments, of running and everything. I mean, obviously there's difficult parts and there's things, but I mean, as far as like the game goes, like when it comes down to like just running the game and not, the other kind of drama and all that stuff, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it like all the time. I don't know. So I don't have any real specifics, I guess. I don't know if that's terrible answer probably, but
no, if you're having a good time, then it's great.
I love it. I don't know. I've played a lot, but it just turned into, we needed a GM at one point and, years and years ago. And I just started running a game and then ran another one and then just ran another one. And, it was always bringing in new people and whatnot. So, so that's kind of how that just turned out. And then I just ended up running all the time. And I guess that's harder to find people that want to run, that people would rather just play. But I enjoy it. And, especially in this style of game, doing like a West March game, there's no, you don't have to prep a whole lot. Like I don't prep, a ton of the world. I mean, I prepped a map. There was a lot of front loaded stuff that I had to do as far as making the continental map and, the hex maps there and stuff. But once you get that far, you can really just put out, placeholders for things. If there's a favorite dungeon that you have, you could say, oh, here's, we'll put the Temple of Elemental Evil here. And you just put a little dot on the map and, and that's it. And because time works.
I don't want to run the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Well, I mean, but it's, makes it easy to say, hey, here's this pre-generated like adventure, and you can just drop it in any way you want. But
which you are doing. I believe that you are using a friend of ours as one of his mega dungeons. As, as some of the stuff that's going on.
Some of the stuff, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he's got a ton of barrows already pre-made, so like I don't have to worry about that.
Are we allowed to mention specific people?
Yeah, absolutely. You
can I don't want to get away in trouble. Greg Gillespie, freaking love the guy. I don't care what anybody else thinks about him. Love the guy.
Yeah,
I've had nothing but the most positive interactions with him, and his mega dungeons are awesome. I love those things. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. They're absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and I've taken bits and pieces out of Barrel Maze for for various things in this. In this game.
But if you're running Barrel Maze, you're not running it correctly because somehow most of us have survived.
Well,
if you're in Barrel Maze, you're going to die. Actually, I guess it's not true. Joe, how many characters? What character number are you on now?
I've lost count. But,
oh boy.
Probably more have survived than should have survived. So Roger is, if you catch him in the right mood, he's a very gentle GM, as the term goes. You gotta catch him in the right mood.
It's getting past first level, right? Like that's the big hump, first and second level, right? Because we're playing an old school game, and because we're playing old school, we're rolling randomly for hit points. So like first level characters don't have 12 hit points or what, or 15 hit points, whatever it is, and so, one bad roll on a D6 on a monster hit, and you're just done.
Yeah.
So, or even second level, I mean, you an owlbear like grabs you and, it's, that's it. It's done, So, that happens. I think after you get to like third level, you can like take a max hit from a monster and then still be able to say, oh, okay, I'm going to walk away now, like, or get back and then go from there. And that kind of helps with the survivability, that and the cleric has more than one healing spell,
especially when we were playing basic fantasy. because basic fantasy is like old school. The red box, you're cleric, you don't get any healing spells until second level. So I kept calling myself a first level fighter up until I was finally able to
got to get through his training, before the gods allow him.
And I rolled a 2 on my hit die. Excuse me, sorry. So God, there's just no way this guy is going to survive. But he's bad. It's the only character I've played. Somehow he survived all that nonsense. So
it's been crazy.
Can I answer DNR's first question real quick, because these stories are in my head and I can't get them out?
Yeah. That's the favorite moment or favorite experience.
So I have 2.
We'll put that back up.
Emperor's Choice popped on. Hey guys, check it out.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Baby.
Still using this.
Let's put that up. I can't wait for Emperor's Choice for the Arduin Kickstarter. They just announced some stuff. What was it, yesterday or the day before? They just announced that they're going to do a Kickstarter. They're going to reprint the original box set, the original Arduin box set. I'm awesome. Definitely all in on that.
Yep, all in. Take my money. Yeah.
So
because you wouldn't take it at the con.
Yeah. So
anyway, my favorite D&D experience. I have 2. Let me see. We were playing second edition, so this would have been. I was in Germany my second tour, so it would have been somewhere around 97. I was playing a paladin, and we had a new guy that was playing. Like, we were teaching how to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I think it was like our 4th or 5th session, and he was constantly giving my paladin a hard time, just mocking the paladin kind of thing. And at one point he got poisoned and he was about to die. And I was not a high enough level paladin to cast neutralize poison. So I asked the DM if I could pray to my deity and take the poison out of his body and take it into myself, because the paladin's got a pretty good poison save. So I was like, got a chance of survival. And he was like, sure, why not? So I did, saved him. I failed my poison roll. So my paladin died. And as he's dying, I said, can I get, a last, like a dying breath? And he was like, yeah, go ahead, say whatever. So I looked at the other player and I said, this is what it means to be a paladin. And then I keeled over. The other guy started crying, and I was like, yes. It was beautiful. Like it was exactly what I wanted to happen. So that's one awesome. Of my favorite memories. The other was not long ago when you and I were at MEPA, when I had COVID. I did not know I had COVID, by the way. I wasn't trying to spread the plague to anybody. I'm sitting there and I'm dying in the chair. And I was playing a cleric again, and it was that magical mystery van. Is that what it was? It was DCC. Was that one of? It was Cyrus's? The van with the wizard. Yes, it was Cyrus's thing.
Yeah,
and so it was the final fight. We're up in the ethereal plane, up in space somewhere, and we roll initiative, and I rolled super low. I was the very last one to go, so I'm like, So the whole time I'm just winding my hammer up. Everybody's chipping away at the bad guy. Then I finally get to go, and I drop my die on the table, and it was natural 20. In DCC, when you roll natural 20, crazy things happen. And it's like when the die landed, everybody went nuts. And I was like, this is so awesome. And I ended up whacking the guy. I finished him off.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I just winding my hammer up and I threw it at him. It was great. I was so happy with that. It was like, even in my COVID deathbed, I was like, this is incredible. So,
that was awesome.
Yeah. So that's fairly recent. Was that 3 years ago, I guess? Something like that?
3 years or something like that. Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Those are the 2 to pop in my head.
It's hard to tell how long ago it was with MEPA, because they do 2 a year. So it seems like it might not be 2 years ago. Which might have been two cons ago, which was only a year ago. So but I really liked at MEPA when we were playing when we did that the mothership game, and we had the list of goals, and there was like NPCs running
fix the
around.
Toilets.
Yeah, we had these goals of like fix the toilet, like change the light bulb, change the sheets, or like all this like dumb stuff. And then you get there and it's like there's a guy jamming a light bulb into his eye, and the other players are like, we got to figure this out. And I'm like, no, we got to go unplug this toilet.
We're union, man. We got a job to do.
And we went like through the whole thing, and like we completed like all of the missions and stuff, and or like all of the,
we got a huge bonus for that at the end,
because the real goals, like, right? Yeah. Yeah,
fix the rover, fix the solar panels.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to point out that Emperor's Choice agrees. Paladins are a great class to play. Roger won't let me play a Paladin campaign.
Yeah, we'll just agree to disagree on that one. We'll have to do a. Geez, maybe we could do a whole video just talking about Paladins or Paladins.
So
we
I
could do a whole video
on like a
Paladin and Paladin. Paladin.
I'm going Paladin. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't care.
But I mean,
doesn't matter.
Aren't they really just clerics?
No. What the?
Oh boy.
Okay, we're gonna stick a pin in that. We'll save that discussion for another one. No, I will never play an anti-paladin. I am lawful good. I can't do it, man.
What's their the Blackguard? Is that the name that they used?
Yeah. I don't do evil. It makes me really uncomfortable playing evil, so I just can't do it.
So yeah, Riley. Longest campaign, I think the longest campaign that I had was I think it was like 10 years long, maybe about that. That was back in the 3.5 days.
I envy you for that.
I'll have to check the thing. Well, we were young and like didn't have anything to do, and so we would play like, Saturday, like
all Saturday.
We'd drive out, we did different locations and stuff where we play from like noon to 3-4 in the morning, whatever it was. We didn't have anything to do. So but yeah, that was crazy times. What about you guys? What's longest games?
1, maybe 2 sessions.
Congratulations, Joe, you made it.
I'm not a long session guy. Actually, though, I ran that Monster game at Dreamcastle a couple weeks ago, or last month, or whatever. And one of the players came back from that first session I had, brought his character sheet. So I don't know if that counts as, but yeah, I'm not a long session or campaign guy, So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this game here, I'm going to run for the next, 40 years or whatever. So, I mean, that was my plan. I've been saying that for a while. So, I don't know. But I mean, it's been pretty fun so far. We've, so we, like I said earlier, I kind of put it together. This kind of with the West Marches, it's a lot like front loaded. Like you got to make a map and kind of the world and have things. You really need to have like travel stuff straightened out. If you're going to do it, you got to figure out, what your movement system's going to be. And mine's pretty simple. I use 6 mile hexes, and then they each have a point value assigned to them. And then based on how fast the party's moving, they get so many points per day. And I just do the math quickly as we're moving. And then I know how many random encounters to roll based on the number of days that it takes. But once you figure that out, everything else, there's a bunch of tables in first edition AD&D for terrain types and everything. So you don't even really need a map. You just need a handful of hexes. With a couple dungeons and some things to do. And we use Discord for the quest lists and scheduling and all of that.
Session notes and all that.
Session notes and and everything in it. And it works out. And I think it's a really easy type of game to run because you don't have to plan a whole campaign out or anything. You can just kind of go with whatever works, like, for that time. Oh, the players want to go like, we want to go to a dungeon or something. Is okay. Well, there's a dungeon out here. And then you just have to plan that one kind of dungeon. You don't need to keep, planning you only need to plan what the players want to do, for that week or whatever. You don't have to plan out a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, I should consider running a game at a convention every year. CNY RPG Con only campaign, which rolls from year to year. Wow. Yeah, maybe.
Well, see, that's not doable because Roger this year was a gigantic ball of stress. I cannot even get him to take an hour to go out to dinner with me. So he was like, if I leave, and I'm like, no, dude, your wife's here. The rest of the guys are here. Everything's going fine. Take an hour, relax. Let's go eat. And he was like, I just can't. So there's no way I could see Roger standing there and he would start doing one encounter and then stop. I have to go check on something. Dude, no, you don't. Sit. There's just no way. Now, Joe or myself or one of the other guys could run one. I think it's a great idea. Just Roger can't be the DM for this.
I think I'll be okay this year. Oh, there you go.
Roger's going to be the arch.
I can play a villain. I think I would do okay this year. I don't know. I feel a lot better about next year. I mean, I know that it's 10 months out. I get it, but I feel better now that it's happened once. You know what I mean? So I feel a lot better about it. So I may be able to run something.
And I think next year or this coming year will be easier for you because last year you had to organize guests and get guests and make sure everything was good to go.
Yeah.
And all of those guests from last year were like, I'd like to come back next year.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
George, Emperor's Choice, they keep asking for 2 more feet. I don't know.
We need bigger banners.
I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna need to rent a bigger hall just for the for the Arduin stuff. But yeah, you guys got a lot going on. Yeah, it's I think it'll be better this year. I think or this next year, I guess, right? Next year. It'll be better, I think, because everything's set in place and everything's kind of, ready to go. Yeah. From wall to wall, he says. Yeah. We'll see. We'll talk for 2027 when you guys are going to do a big Arduin release. Maybe we'll do a whole the whole ballroom up and Arduin stuff or something. We'll figure something out.
Awesome.
So yeah, no, that's that'd be cool. But yeah, so it's and I'm really interested in checking out Arduin. I really love the crazy monsters and stuff that they have in there. I really love that stuff. And Riley's asking, what's your favorite enemy and monster? It really depends, right? Like for me anyway. As the GM, I mean, I love all my minions, right?
I love them all equally.
But I really like I know you want me to say the gray ooze, the gray slime.
It is.
There's one of those everywhere.
Ooze is totally your favorite monster.
I like
look,
oozes.
There's a pool of water. There's obviously an ooze in it.
I like
everyone stand back.
Yeah. I really like beholders. Beholders are really cool because they're just different, a completely different makeup than everything else. They're not like a humanoid thing. I mean, obviously they're an aberration, right? But they're just so different, and they have all these cool powers and stuff. But the Arduin has the Octorillas, which those guys are absolutely amazing. So I don't know, but I'm really a beholder guy. I think a beholder is probably my favorite monster.
I think I like beholders. My opinion on 5th edition is widely known by many people. I think 5th edition has made beholders so common that they're like a more powerful orc. I mean, in 5e, you can't you can't turn a right corner in a dungeon. Oh, look, here's another beholder or beholder Ken.
Sure.
Yeah, and so for me, it kind of knocked them down. I like the oddball monsters that you never see. Like when we were doing the brief underground thing, and you hit us with a cloaker and a hook horror.
The Roper.
I'm sorry. Yes, the Roper.
Yeah.
And man, I wanted to burst into song with that because you don't get to see, anytime you go underground, you meet the gray dwarves and drow. That's what's going to be there. So when the Roper started going at us and he was beating the snot out of us,
yeah,
I was so happy to be fighting. That's like the middle of Monster Manual 2. There's nothing, you never see this stuff here. And so those are the monsters that I really like. Other than like the Roper and hook horrors and cloakers, just the really oddball stuff. It's always cool to encounter a dragon. Never make a deal with a dragon and don't piss it off. But it's everyone has seen dragons, and again, another thing that the latter versions of D&D, in my opinion, have damaged the prestige of those powerful monsters because they're everywhere. So I really like the ones that you just don't run into very often. I get really excited. And also part of that is I have memorized most of the Monsters Compendium. There are very few monsters that I can't tell you all the stats on.
Yeah.
And I try really hard to separate what I know from what my character knows, but it still creeps in. When you throw a monster at us that I'm like, oh, what does this guy do? I'm like, oh, I love not knowing the answer to this.
Yeah.
Because the guys look at me and they're like, Yohai, what do we do with this? I stab it, see what happens. I don't know, man. So I get really excited when we see monsters that you just don't see very often.
Joe, you got a favorite favorite enemy monster?
Yeah, of course I have a favorite. My favorite monster is and the Arduin guys might know this, but my favorite monsters are skeletons because they're less about the skeleton, more about whatever accessory they have, and you can kind of change them up with, and it's pretty obvious what their deal is, depending on what equipment they have on them or whatever, tattered artifacts or whatever they're wearing, like you can kind of get like a whole backstory out of like a skeleton with like, maybe in your campaign, like a tattered Roman armor,
Sure.
And that's what I like about skeletons.
Tabard from an ancient military or something like that.
Yeah, you don't really have to ask, where are these guys from or whatever, you just boom, there they are. They got this on, and you got their whole history.
Yeah,
so, like
it's interesting you bring that up because in this game, like as far as story goes, just so everybody knows, I really don't have like this huge overarching story. It's kind of like an older continent where some things happened like over 1,000 years ago on, and then the players are kind of slowly, like there's different clues here and there, but I've done things like that where, you guys have found like the tombs of like some like Roman legionaries, and things like that. So, so it kind of brings in some of the history there. And that's what's great about a West Marches game is you don't have to do, you don't have to have this overarching story. I've got a handful of villains and all they do is they just have kind of goals and stuff. And I just progress those goals like week by week. And then the players, obviously they do things that says, oh, okay, well, we're going to take this from this person, or we're going to help this person out. And it, and it helps move, the NPC goals, forward or backwards and stuff. And it works out fairly well. Let's see what do you got. Hey, Ducato, how are you today? I will never have a character that is willing to get in the water ever again. For those of you that don't know, this is my wife, Jean, and I had a rogue in 3rd edition, and as part of his backstory, I said that he couldn't swim. That was his thing. Couldn't swim. Never learned how to swim. didn't like the open water boats, any of that stuff. And we were in a cave, and there was a shiny, I think it was a chalice, in the bottom of a pool, and it was in one of the caves in Keep on the Borderlands, and she had a druid character, and I said, "Hey, there's a shiny thing in that pool there," and she dove in and got it for me, except that there was a gray ooze in there. Yeah. And it killed her. I wasn't the DM.
I wasn't even there.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
But that was a light bulb moment for Roger. He went, gray ooze.
Yeah. I was like, oh, those guys are really cool. You get people to jump into them. Dual gun skeleton. There you go, Joe.
That's a
very much Arduin. Yeah.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
I haven't used that yet, but that's just someday.
First time. Yeah, it was first time that Gene played. I don't know if maybe that was the first session. I don't remember now. It had to be pretty early on because Keep on the Borderlands was the first thing we kind of got ran through. But yeah. So whoops.
Yeah, but shiny. Yeah.
Yeah, but shiny. Yeah. Well, that's what I said. It was shiny. It had to be done. But wow, best classes. Well,
Ranger.
Let's see, there's really only 4 classes. Right. Fighter, cleric, wizard, thief, right?
What are the rest just subclasses? Is that what you're
well, I mean, really, if you really want to take some steps further, I think the wizard and the cleric, I think we could probably merge those guys together.
What?
We only need just have a spellcaster. What's it matter where they get their spells from, right? Whether it comes from one of their gods,
completely different
magic thing. Yeah, mechanically, but mechanically it's the same. I mean, thematically, I mean, they're different. Mechanically, they're very, very similar. You combine the classes. Who cares?
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm hearing this garbage come out of your mouth.
Do we really need thieves? I mean, thieves weren't in the original edition. They were just added later to give.
You hear that, Joe?
Sneaking around things.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't nothing against you, Joe.
Yeah. Get out of the campaign, Joe. We don't need you anymore.
So,
all right, see ya.
So what I'm saying is all we need is fighters and magic users, and everything else is just a subclass.
Riley, that question will lead to a very lengthy discussion, which I am all for. I think a lot of it depends. The serious answer. I think a lot of it depends on the system you're using. I'm a ranger. I will play a ranger at the drop of a hat in almost any system and be happy doing it, with the sole exception of 5th edition. The 5th edition ranger is a useless neutered fighter, and I hate it. And I played a ranger in 5th edition for 3 years, so I have experience doing it. So ranger, who is that? Joe, was that you? Joe
That's
just
Joe
in the private chat. A ranger is a fighter that got lost in the woods.
I mean,
next time you need heals, you remember that statement right there.
I didn't say anything bad about a clerk.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But no, I think a lot of it depends on the system, and they, of course, the politically correct answer is all the classes have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Oh boy,
blah blah blah. So really, it's down to personal choice. Like I said, I'll play a ranger at the top of the hat. I am playing a cleric in Roger's campaign because nobody else wanted to, and if you don't have heals, you're not going to make it out of town for a week. It just ain't going to happen. But man, I love playing Yohai. Yohai is my cleric's name. Love playing the guy. He has Paladin Nivi. I've gone or Paladin, if it makes you happy, Roger.
No, it doesn't. Either way, it doesn't matter to me.
When I play Yohai, he wanted to be a Paladin. He only has 11 charisma, so he doesn't have the stat requirements. So part of his backstory is that he was sent to the church to train as a Paladin, and was not suitable to be a Paladin, so they kind of gave him the boot, so he's a cleric. But he wears full plate mail. He wields a wolf spear and shield. He is the first one to step up and fight Anytime somebody's moving forward, Yohai is right next to him. So, man, I'm having a lot of fun with my cleric, and I don't usually. See, I've given you a very long-winded answer to a short question. Yeah. Sorry, Joe, Roger, what do you think?
Joe, yeah, you got a best class?
I honestly just like any game I play, any kind of manipulator or like thief or something, or summoner, just something I can't do in real life. Like I probably could steal stuff in real life, but I would end up in jail pretty quick. So, it's
yeah. I really think it depends on the system, as far as best class. And I don't know. I don't like the question, Riley. I don't like asking what the best class. But no, I don't think there's a best class. And I guess you could probably pick out a best class like in any system. Like in Dungeon Crawl Classics, I think the wizard is like the best class because they're just super overpowered. I mean,
but that's a problem.
Fail. you can roll a 1 on your spells and then things backfire and you could die or worse. But yeah, I mean, you can do some crazy things if you get a crit, and that the way the system is designed with spell burn and stuff, you can do that, pretty easily. And then you can just break the game, but yeah, I don't know. I've always liked kind of casting classes and stuff, but I probably haven't played them the most though. I've probably played more fighter or thief types than actual casters. But yeah, that's where I'm at there. Favorite spell casting class? I mean, I like I said, in DCC, it's definitely the wizard. But I mean, what else is there other than wizard and cleric?
Well, since you've asked, Roger, I do think that the illusionist is a ridiculous class. He's just a specialist wizard.
Oh, sure. Yes.
I'm not. That's one thing in C&C. I'm not a fan of the illusionist. I think it's ridiculous.
Right.
My favorite spellcasting class, cleric, easily. I'm very much a melee guy. I talked about playing a ranger. I like playing fighters and paladins. I like being up front. And you can't do that with a wizard, regardless of the level of the wizard. You can cast your fireballs and your lightning bolts. That's what our spellcaster does. When Andrew, our wizard player, hit 5th level, there were tears in his eyes because all he had been wanting to do was cast a fireball. So when he was finally able to do that, he was like, yes. And now he just fireball everything. But once you have run out of your fireballs or your ice storms or whatever, the only thing the wizard can do for most people is stand in the back and hope they don't get hit. Whereas my cleric can be up front, stabbing people with a spear, reaching over and healing somebody. They're just incredibly versatile classes. So I've really grown very, very fond of specifically the C&C cleric. So yes, and Decado just asked, we're playing C&C. Yes, we are. That's what we're using.
Joe, what do you have a favorite spellcasting class?
Just in general, anything that can like buff or debuff and summon. That's like typically what I gravitate towards when casting spells. I don't really like fireballs. I just like buffing my party and debuffing the monsters and getting other monsters to do stuff for me. So
there you go. Cool. Yeah, Decado, we are. I am running for this campaign. I am running Castles and Crusades Reforged edition, and we went with Reforged because that was kind of just coming out, and the books were available and everything else. So, but yeah. So that's what we're running, and I think you're running that as well, right? I think I just saw. I think it is funny. I'm looking over at my table here, and I have this cave set up with a bunch of lava and a bunch of fire giants and some raised things that these guys saw last week. And Decado, I think you posted a very similar setup like 2 or 3 days ago, with some fire giants and whatnot. Yeah, wow, 69th session, 3 years.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, we've got to be we're high 40s. We got to be.
Yeah, because we've been playing pretty much weekly for the past.
There's a few weeks here and there that we didn't play, but for the most part,
yeah.
We got to be in high 40s, low 50s, or higher.
Yeah, right. So 69th session in 3 years. Yeah, so you're playing what, like twice a month, probably something like that. Joe is a team player. Well, we'll let him have that one. We'll let him have that one and move on. How's that sound? No, Joe is pretty much a team player. He's I think every time he's died was being a team player, trying to protect somebody else or trying to do something that he thought was the right thing to do to protect the group, I think. Yeah, monthly play and now twice a month. Okay. Yeah.
Man, I couldn't do that. I would forget my character and forget the plot. I have a horrible memory. Yeah, even weekly is hard for me to deal with. So I'm like, I can look at my notes. What did we do? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the kind of thing where you play for like 12 hours though, or something, and like that one time you do play?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joe. I guess if they're going,
that would be awesome.
I would love to play until midnight. Like 12 hours. That'd be cool.
Or
I don't know if I can anymore.
Like 6, 7, 8 hours. I don't know. Snack breaks and stuff.
We used to do that, and play for like 14 hours or something. You know what I mean? We break and get pizza or something, and things like that. But yeah, wow, twice a month. Where did I'm looking back at my notes, and we kind of veered way off the West Marches thing. So
I told you I was going to do this. I'm sorry.
No. It's fine. It's fine. So if anybody has any questions specifically for that, please, let me know. And we can always talk about some of the stuff later. And it's fine. It's, an open discussion. So whatever people want to talk about, I'm there for it. But, so I think just the important thing with a West Marches game is to have a travel system set up and like a map, or at least a small part of a map with some stuff on it, some caves or some, a dungeon or something, and just pull a dungeon out of, anywhere. There's tons of random map generators online, or just, pull up like any Dragon magazine or any, there's so many source books. Yeah, there's so many source books and things with maps and adventures and modules, and just pull stuff out. We mentioned, Barrow Maze earlier. I mean, if you need a barrow, you just turn to a random page and you got a barrow to use, or find one that you like, and and you can just you just use it. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, first edition, the DM's book, the DM's guide, you can generate a dungeon just from scratch, just rolling on tables, and it gives you everything, and it's fantastic. We also do gold for XP. Whenever the players are in town, it's they can pay 1 gold to get 1 XP to level up and stuff, and that is like quote unquote training costs and whatnot. And I think that works out. That works out fairly well. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think it keeps the players kind of having to like go out and like get more money, and because as soon as you get as soon as you make your first million, it's like, why do you want to go out anymore or whatever? So it's a lot easier to say, oh, hey, like we need more, cause just dump it into training and then you keep going. Right. What do you guys think about that, doing the gold for?
I like it. Excuse me. Except I have a problem, and this is solely my problem.
Sure.
Because of the medieval life simulator living in my head. I don't spend my money on experience. I rarely do that. My character has built a temple I've spent 40,000 gold on this temple. I've got a manor house out in the middle of nowhere, currently under construction. That's 50 grand. The manor house is in the middle of what did we say, 36.11 square miles, something like that. It's a hex.
Something 30. It's a 6 mile hex.
And he's he's got a huge orchard and a farm. He's a gentleman farmer kind of thing. So that's where my money goes. And also, let's see, the smithy paid for that. The tavern paid for that. My other character, I played a thief very briefly, took his money, started a brothel. So I like the idea of, hey, 3 weeks ago when we found a boatload of gold, it's like, oh, finally we can get over that hump, because the CNC experience tables, it's double every time you level.
Yeah.
So it's ghastly. Once you hit 7th level, or even 6th level, once you try to get 7, too much water, 7, 8, 9, the experience needed for that is, you're never going to get that kind of experience by just going out, west marching, hoping to run into a group of sleeping stone giants. So I like being able to spend the money to get the experience. I just don't do it because I'm like, Yohai's going to do this. So that's where his money goes. But the characters that don't do that sort of thing, great for them. Yeah.
Joe, what do you think about gold for XP?
At first I was like, oh, this isn't really going to help that much, but it's surprising how much faster you level if you just pour all your gold into leveling.
Sure.
But like, Jason is saying, there's a lot of other projects you can do. So you really have to kind of balance, what do I want to do in the game versus what do I want to do with my character? And I mean that, it's up to each person to decide. So I think that keeps it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And like kind of like what Jason's saying, I just want to touch on that, the building stuff. Like that's something I'm trying to push like the players to do. Like, and I want to try and push characters into retirement once they hit like level 10 or so. And if they, want to, if there's need for them to be around or whatever, then that's fine. But, I think pushing them to retirement and having a place that's now like a new place to show up and, be a safe space on the map or another town, and then have followers and be able to, give out quests if they want to, for things like I think that's, a good way to expand, the world. As far as character levels. So this is kind of where like sort of a point where I have a little difference. Joe, that's 9. You're 9th level already, Joe? Oh, you're a thief. That's right.
He spent his bundle of money on
that gold.
That's right. 9th level. I really try to push the players to have, probably not as hard as I should, but to have multiple characters generated and stuff, and then to be able to just have a bunch of people in the world to go out and do different things. And it's hard, I think, to break people of the mindset of this is my character that I play every week and, go to, because it's just been that way in so many games for so long. But I really like the idea of having, a ton of players that each have, a huge stable of characters that go off and do different things, or, hey, I'm going to bring this guy and you bring that guy and whatnot. So I think that's like, so in the group that we have now, they what do they call them? Mains? Is that what you guys?
Yeah.
Like there's mains and alts.
Mains and alts. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think I mentioned something like a couple weeks ago in the group chat. I said I can't wait till the day where we just call them characters, and but yeah, I mean I get it. You want to play the same character like over and over again, but I don't know. I just live in a different world from like 75% of the people that play this game.
No, I don't really think that's accurate. Part of the problem is that we played our mains first to 6th level. That there was never a time. It wasn't like we played this stable for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later we played this stable, and then we played this guy. So we played these guys for 9 months. So I gravitate towards playing Yohai. I'm happy to play anybody because I like to play different things. But Yohai is the one that's got the temple to run. That's, his sister runs the tavern. He's got his manor that he's working on. He's about to get married. So to me, Yohai has a life. Whereas my other characters, like when I played Zhang, my ranger, he was a one shot, and I purposely made him rude to the rest of the party because I wanted to make it clear that he wasn't buddies. He wasn't part of this group. And then Andra, my druid, was there just for the one shot, and I really like playing the druid. By the way, somebody asked about the spellcasters. Druid's pretty fun too. So I think if we had started with first couple of weeks play this guy, next couple of weeks play this, I think would have been easier to kind of cycle through them all. But we really focused on one character, so that's what we focused on. So it's difficult to. Andrew, perfect example. He's playing a wizard that is, I think he's 8th level now. So he's casting his ice storms and fireballs. It's really difficult to say, hey, wizard, that's got really good power, put him in the closet and play this 1st level rogue that's going to get smacked if he steps out of line. That's difficult for a lot of players to do.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Joe, you got any thoughts on that, or?
What specifically?
Any of that.
No, I mean, like we covered like so much ground between what are your character levels.
Switching characters and whatnot.
Well, I think it's nice to have the option to switch characters because, like, I think I told you before, you said you were, I'm going to run a long form campaign. I was like, I hate long form campaigns. So, and kind of how I think about like the character deaths that I've had too is just like, okay, well, bright side is, I get to play a different character. So it's kind of like I'm not, not that I'm trying to purposely kill my characters, but
that's a great attitude, Joe. I've never really looked at it like that. Oh, my fighter died. Cool. I'll play a ranger now, or I'll play a spellcaster. That's a great attitude.
Yeah.
I get really locked in on a character. If Yohai dies, I'll be very unhappy. If he dies heroically, though, that's okay. If he dies because someone did some stupid crap and that caused him to die, that would be very annoying for me.
Well, it's probably going to be that one, but
Yeah, no kidding. But to answer the question, our character levels, our mains, between 7 and 9. I think most of us are floating right around 8.
Yeah, depending on the XP and the XP leveling is different, obviously, between classes, and then depending on how much money people are putting into to those classes and how much money they're putting elsewhere. So
and I have like some like alternative characters or whatever. They're like 4 or 5 just based on they met one of like when I had my cleric before he was brutally murdered.
By a hill giant, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had all met him at some point in the Turtletown Tavern, which is like the home base area of the campaign, and they met him there, became friends with him, and he was like, "Hey, I don't need all this money," so or they did some favors for him or whatever, and whatever I could work out, like with my own personal head canon storyline type thing. So I do have some other characters like 4 or 5 or whatever. And recently there's been a recruiting program at a different town that we just found out about. So
they're fun.
Yeah, but if you're not into long form campaigns, I guess having alternative characters you can play and that aren't just the one character all the time every week, that kind of breaks it up a little bit. And I don't necessarily think about it so much as a long form thing,
Sure. Yeah, right. It kind of makes it, a little bit shorter or whatever, because it's just this character story and then this character story or something. Yeah. That is an interesting way of looking at it. What Riley asked, what's your favorite weapon in the game? Do you mean specific weapons, or like just in general weapon types? I really like spears generally, things like that. Spears are really nice, mostly because you can set them against the charge But
there you go, Ducato. That's exactly what I was going to say, dude. Bastard sword. I love the versatility of a bastard sword.
Bastard sword is cool. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of pole arms in general. I love the halberd and the glaive. The problem is Dungeons and Dragons doesn't really use them realistically. I'm carrying a pike. Okay, dude, your pike is 15 feet long. Doesn't really fit in a dungeon. But
yeah, right.
So, but I had a fighter that used a glaive that was Gant. God, I love playing that guy. Love playing Gant. So he used a glaive. I've had a guy that used a halberd. And the advanced pole arms like that. I love versatility in weapons. The halberd's got a hammer. It's got a hammer head. It's got an axe head. It's got a spike end. That's there you go. Pierce / bludgeon. Yeah, I can smack anything with this. So I really like things like that. But as far as swords go, bastard sword's the way to go. One-handed or two-handed, whatever you want to do with it.
Sure.
Great weapon.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
I like the kind of weapons that don't do too much damage. Like, you got the sling, that's a classic. That's biblical. You can go all the way back. And then, dagger, pretty fun. But then you also got the classic longsword, so.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Has anybody ever tried to tame a monster? I think in our game, we've had that happen a few times. Where people have tried. But yeah, I think Tyler has a direwolf. There from taming it. Yeah. So it can happen. It does happen on occasion. So Ducato, what do you do as far as in CNC for weapons and like using weapons? Do you give penalties or anything like that when they're like if they're trying to fight in a cavern or like down a hallway or anything like that? I've thought about it. I think Jason and I had a discussion about this like not too long ago, where I wish I implemented something. But there's obviously like a bastard sword or something like that. If you're in a 5-foot hallway, like you can't realistically swing that thing,
right?
If there's anybody within 5 feet of you, you're, so that's definitely when you want to use spears or something that, is a thrusting kind of weapon. But I'm just curious, as to what you've done, if you've done anything different for any of that. I don't recall.
I don't either.
Dragon Slayer.
That's why I grabbed this off my shelf.
There you go. Yeah.
As soon as we're done, I'm going to look it up and see what it does, because you said that, and I'm like, let's check this out.
Yeah. You just tell them. Yeah, Ducato says, I will tell them they can't wield certain weapons in certain circumstances. Yeah, and I kind of wish that I started doing that from the beginning, and I didn't. I was really loose with it. And I don't know if that's something that I could go back on at this point without people getting upset with me.
No way. Knowing the people in our group, no way. So
I'm okay with
it. But yeah. And I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a huge deal. I don't think that the circumstances come up, that much. I mean, it's only like when you guys are in tight spaces really is the problem. Or there was that underwater thing, where like piercing weapons should have been better than slashing. And, but I didn't really do anything there because you guys were sort of on, on the back foot anyway in that encounter. So, well, maybe, I mean, it could have, it could have turned out a lot worse than it did. Yeah. They don't come up a lot. Yeah. Which is why I just kind of hand waved it or whatever.
I don't remember which edition of AD&D it was, but they had the weapon type versus armor type modifiers.
Yeah, the AD&D.
That was
AD&D first edition had that. I love that. I think that's phenomenal.
I do too, but the problem is it's yet another number to throw into the mix.
Right.
And while that does not bother me at all, this discussion you and I have had before, the numbers never scare me. But you tell player X it's +2 versus chainmail, but it's -2 versus plate mail, and now they're like, oh my god, really more math? Or then it becomes incumbent on you as the DM. The player's going to say, what kind of armor are they wearing? And I need to know every single time we're fighting a monster. And so it can be cumbersome.
That plays in, those rules play into why Gary had the fighters be able to have like all the weapon specialization, or all they can use any weapon,
all weapons, right?
And that makes that, like, now in more recent editions, like it's not a huge deal, right? It's like, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter because I'm a thief and I'm just going to use a short sword anyway, or I'm a cleric, I'm going to use a mace, like, anyway. But like a fighter being able to to say, oh, hey, here's a guy in plate mail, so I'm going to use this giant hammer, right? So I can smash through it. Or, oh, here's a guy in chain, so I'm going to switch to my spear. Or here, you know what I mean? Or like,
but then you start running into
through that.
Then it's like, okay, dude's a walking armory. How many weapons can you honestly carry?
Right. Sure.
Like your giant hammer. Okay, 2-handed weapon slung across your back because you can't hang it off your waist because it's dragging on the ground. So you maybe a sword on one hip, 2-handed weapon across the back, but you can't carry a missile weapon if you're doing that because it's going to interfere. Your bowstring is going to get messed up doing it. But again, I see that laugh because this is the medieval simulator running in my head.
But,
that's what's
going on.
One
of those things. That's one of those things where, like, and you mentioned, that, okay, the fighter's not as great as it used to be, right? So, or a 5th edition fighter like isn't great or whatever. And I think that's one of the reasons is, like, if you go back to using those rules where the fighter can be that versatile, like, it gives the fighter that much of an edge. And it might only be a +2, but that's 10%, which is
substantial.
A lot. So as a dungeon master, have you ever had to improvise? Constantly, every single day is a new thing because the rules can't cover everything, and so you always have to come up with things. Even if the rules cover something, you always have to say, okay, this is in 3 different places in the book, this is how we're going to do it right now, and we'll figure it out later. Like, so you're constantly improvising everything. And the older the edition, the more you have to improvise because there's less specific rules for everything. And if you guys have anything to add to that, or
no, and I'm looking at the chat.
I know.
Ducato, I totally agree. If you cannot improvise, it is highly unlikely that you will be successful as a dungeon master. And certainly as a player. I mean, as a player, you're improvising all the time because you don't know what the DM is going to throw at you. Our campaign, our players do some of the dumbest nonsense that I have ever seen as a player. And there have been times when Roger's really good at improvisation. He's really good at reacting. But every now and then something happens where one of the players will say something, and I can see the look on Roger's face like, kill me now. So, but you have to improvise all the time. And like Ducato said, half his last session is 100% improv all the time. Absolutely happens.
Ducato, I use a GM screen not to hide things behind it, but to hide from my players that there's nothing back there. That's like, I've got a handful of index cards with some notes written on them, and like the rest, I'm just, I just kind of wing it. And that's the way that it is. But yeah. According to Luke Gygax, his dad. Well, I mean, you lose me as soon as you say according to
Luke Gygax. The enemy.
His dad never used those rules in his home games. He put them for war games. I don't know if I believe that. One, two, I know that they're like a holdover from chainmail because those rules were in chainmail, which was the preferred combat system for original Dungeons and Dragons. And the alternate combat system was, with a D20, which who was ever going to use that, right? But so I don't know. I don't know. Let's just pass. But it is. I don't know. Never use the rules. I don't know. Then why did he write? Why did he take the time to put him in the book?
Well, he says because he put him in there for the wargamers. Yeah, I think it's totally feasible.
Because, feasible,
but that was it's not like I'm telling anybody anything they don't know. D&D was born from wargaming. So if you're gonna if you're gonna put a gaming system together, you don't want to exclude the guys that have been your base. You don't want to Disneyfy Dungeons and Dragons. So you want to make sure the wargamers can still get in on it and be like, okay, yeah, this works for me too. I think that's totally possible. Yeah.
Sure. So the problem with weapons versus armor is it breaks down, becomes very tedious with spear versus dragon club versus plate mail. So I think that this is not a problem. This is not the problem of it. The problem becomes looking it up. But I think the DM can easily make a judgment to say, okay, dragon scale is scale mail. So if that spear has a +2 against scale mail, then that works against, dragon scale. I think you just use those rules. And then as far as a dragon claw versus plate mail, I mean, I would go to, like, depending on the size of a dragon, probably like a short sword, right? For a small dragon, because that's a slashing kind of effect. And I think that would have the same effect against plate mail. I mean, that's how I would rule it anyway. I mean, that's my thought on it. I mean, so I don't think there's really a breakdown. I think there's enough stuff on the table where you can say, hey, this is, this is a good stand-in for this. My opinion.
I lean towards agreeing with Dave or George, whoever is behind Emperor's Choice. I agree. I think it can get very tedious. I like the crunchiness of old school D&D. I love the math. In fact, Dungeons and Dragons is one of the things that got me interested in mathematics growing up. So I like the numbers, but a lot of people don't. And all it takes is one guy at the table that isn't terribly good at math or just doesn't want to bother having to look at this column that he's got to work on to really bog everything down. And that's where the tedious part comes in.
Sure.
So yeah, for me, you're better off just getting rid of it. Just, I have a +2 to hit. I have a +2 to hit, and that's just what it is.
If I could memorize the chart or like a simplified version of it in my head, then I would do it, and then I would just do it, and because that's that's what I do. I know you guys know this,
spell effects and all that.
Everybody watching, like when I'm running, I try and where was I going with this? I try and do all the adjustments in my head and not let the players do it, because any math that the players have to do is more often than not gonna end badly.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to you guys, but
the big example of that is like my cleric casts Soundstorm, which is the reforged version of Soundburst.
Sure.
So, if a monster fails its save, it's stunned. Well, it's a -1 to almost everything. And Roger said, don't worry about the modifiers. Just do your roll to hit. Normally, I'll worry about the modifiers and I'll let you know. So that helps speed us up quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, you want to take that one?
Yes. Me too. Cats are great.
Okay. Great. Okay. We can move on. Is a GM screen too. I kind of stopped. I got my laptop now where I have my map, because I have so many notes on the map. So I started using that. Even though I try and shy away from using the technology stuff, I do have a TV on the wall that has the world map on it that we can zoom in and out of. And then I've put so many notes on Legend Keeper on the map that I kind of use that now. And so my laptop becomes my GM screen. Favorite race to play as? Ducato says dwarf. I don't know. I mean, can I just say human? And I mean, everybody will get mad at me for that and say it's a non-answer, but
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
I like playing dwarves, specific classes. I like playing a dwarven cleric. I had a dwarven paladin that I absolutely loved playing. I had a dwarven fighter I liked. In fact, that dwarven fighter is now our he's a paladin now, but he's the blacksmith in town in Roger's campaign that no one ever interacts with. But I tend to go human, half elf, or elf. Those are like I think I've played a gnome once and it was fine. I don't think I've ever played a halfling. Just does not appeal to me at all. Half orcs can take a flying leap off a bridge, and I couldn't care less. Monstrous races. This is one of the things I hate about 5th edition. I hate monstrous races being player characters. And Roger has told me, well, gnomes were originally a monster, and people liked it, so they became a PC race. That's fine. But if you tell me you want to play an owlbear, you're sitting at the wrong table. So yeah, I tend to stick towards the classic humanoid races.
No half tabaxi, half Aarakocra,
or tiefling. My God, dude! Every 5th edition player with blue hair wants to play a freaking tiefling, and I just, my God, dude. Sorry, you've hit on a sore spot, Riley.
Joe, you got any other thoughts on?
Yeah, humans are the best, and that's why they were central to the Lord of the Rings plot. And yeah, I mean, what more could you want?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Ducato says dwarf. We won't hold it against him.
Dwarves are a great race.
No, dwarves are fun.
Those are a lot of fun to play.
Whatever you have fun playing, play it.
Dwarves are cool. Yeah. I've played halflings. Maybe maybe just once. The stereotypical halfling thief. And it worked out. It was fun. It was a good time. You
know what race I hate is the Kender. Dragonlance, the Kender and Dragonlance.
Yeah,
that is the most because everybody wants their freaking stick, and they're always trying to steal shit. Dude, please, you're not 10.
I love the Kender. They're just.
Oh my God, dude! It's like I don't even know you, Joe.
This is amazing.
See,
God, just hate
George is with me on this. See, he's got his laptop too. Human, human's a great race, especially in CNC. Yeah, you get the extra proficiency
extra
prime.
That
prime thing.
Boy, that prime is a +6. That is a big deal.
Yeah. It's
especially in Roger's campaign where he's going to tell you to do an intelligence check every 5 minutes.
Wisdom. It's wisdom that everybody gets upset about.
Noodle the cat give me a hard time.
We're not
okay. You exposed us. Roger and I got together a couple days ago and we're like, hey, let's just do this to annoy Jason. Really make him mad.
I'm very emotional about Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing since I was 11, and as I told my wife when I first met her, I play Dungeons and Dragons, and if I could, I would play every single night. I love Dungeons and Dragons. So yes, there are things about different systems that annoy me greatly, but I come about it honestly. So,
biggest plot twist biggest plot twist that's ever happened in a campaign. Wow. I think the plot twists happen all the time. I don't know. It's wow, biggest plot twist. You got anything, Joe?
I actually have one in mind, but I wouldn't want to ruin the adventure for anyone that plays it in the future. So, can't really just give up the plot twists.
What adventure is it? Does it spoil?
Well, it doesn't necessarily spoil, but I ran Moss Rider Ori Magi, which is everything in it's like kind of origami themed, which is where the name Ori Magi comes from. And even the adventure module kind of just like infinitely folds. It's one of those you know, you kind of open it up and then
Yeah.
this way, that way, and it just keeps going. In order to play it, I actually just like print it up on my printer, cut it out on index cards, and put it on the index cards because I was like, I'm not going to run a game and also fold stuff and look for it. And but there's a lich, and that's the big bad in the campaign. And there's at one point you find a folded paper origami heart, which, you know, you're going to think it's, you know, the lich's heart. You have to destroy it to destroy the lich, but that is not the lich's true heart. You have to play to find out.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know if any like huge, like big plot twists. You got anything, Jason? You look like you've been intently thinking.
I think the only one that comes to mind recently was when you and I were playing the introduction module to Pirate. Is it Pirate Borg? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
it's the Pirates Morkborg. Is it Pirate Borg? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Pirate Borg. Yep.
The introduction module. You're working for the governor of this island that you're on, and he wants you to go rescue his daughter from this Death Knight thing. And so we ride up there, and it turns out the governor's the bad guy. The Death Knight is some kind of land baron, and the daughter wants to be with the Death Knight. And I liked the way we handled it because we were like, well, we're pirates. The hell with the governor. You guys want to live together? Live together. You crazy kids have a great time. And so then we left. But you know, the whole time we were playing, I had no idea that the governor was the bad guy. Like, it never even occurred to me that he was the villain of the story until we got there and everything like was exposed. So yeah. But other than that, I don't really get a whole lot of plot twists.
So I think all three of us were there as players, and James Mello was running a Shadow Dark one shot at PAX Unplugged. This was 3 years ago, and 2 years ago, and we had this thing. We were basically all slaves or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And got sent into this like what evil temple to loot it. They were like, you're gonna go in there and get this thing or like die or whatever.
Like,
so we're like, pyramid. Okay, like whatever. What was that, Joe?
Like an evil pyramid type thing.
Yeah, evil pyramid type of thing or whatever. So we go in there, we kind of like fight our way through and like figured out through the traps and stuff. And we get to like the end of it, and there's like this big evil, you know, bad guy, god, whatever it was, that kind of like appears before us or that we let out. And he basically is like kneel before me or die. And we're like, if we kneel before you, will you kill the people outside that sent us in here? And James, the DM, is like, huh? Yeah, he'll take that deal. And we'll be like, great, we're yours, man.
we became his first priest.
Yeah. And so we go outside like to come back to these people, and they're like, "Oh, like, what took you so long?" And like, "Oh, we brought help." And like, this guy just like kills all these.
Behold.
And James, and I saw James at Page last year, and he said that he tells that story all the time. That was the only time that, you know, he's played that adventure so many times, and that's the only time that's happened. So that was a hell of a plot twist there, I think.
Yeah,
that was really that was crazy. Yeah. Well, let's look at Dakota's plot twist here quick. Running Temple of Elemental Evil during a pivotal battle to Moat House, one of the players revealed he was an agent for the temple and turned on the party. Oh my God. Some of our players, I don't want to you know, point fingers, but some of our players wouldn't stand for that at all.
Oh, he's pointing at me. Okay. Yeah. That's, I like that. Roger ran a very short one shot with a couple of buddies at one of the cons. Something very similar happened. I am 100% a team player, and I expect everybody at the table to be on the same team. And that's a me issue. So when somebody sticks their head up and says, "By the way," that's very difficult for me to handle. Games like Munchkin, where the entire purpose of that game is to screw over everybody else at the table, I can't play it. It's just not me.
I think if it's like, if it's done right, it can be good. Like I don't enjoy it when it's like, oh hey, I'm evil, and then like you just start fighting like right there or whatever. If it's like a general like overarching like plot or something that might be going against like what the party's got going on, that's like not too direct. Like I mean, I think like some of that's like okay, to have some of that, and to have some players that or PCs, not players, PCs at odds over certain things, I don't think is bad. But the whole like somebody's working for the bad guy or whatever, like if as soon as that person turns on the party, like I think it can cause issues with the group, the group dynamic, because then no matter even if it's a different game, like that player is going to not be trusted or something like that, later, and I think it causes some problems there. Take care, George. I'm pretty sure that's George. I'm not sure, but it's good to see you. We'll definitely talk soon. So yeah.
Did he say their Kickstarter is going live Thursday?
Oh, did he say Thursday? It's soon. I know it's definitely soon.
Sweet.
It's definitely within the next couple of weeks.
I'm gonna be on the road, so you're gonna have to send me a reminder.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely don't want to drop that ball.
Yeah, no, I will. Players only mad at themselves. They realize they ignored a bunch of clues you dropped. Yeah, I mean, so there's something to say about that. If somebody left clues or tried to like let them know,
and that would not piss me off if the player is doing, if he's dropping clues, and it's even if the rest of the group doesn't pick up on it immediately, if they can look back and say, "Oh man, I totally should have seen that coming." I like that. To me, that's good storytelling. It's just the out of the blues knife in the back. I'm like, okay, what the hell was that? I don't get that sort of thing.
Joe, you got any thoughts on players knifing each other in the back?
I mean,
for a
thief,
for a thief, I haven't really stabbed any players in the back. But yeah, I think it could be a kind of feels bad type of moment when it just pops out of nowhere. Or I think even some people aren't going to trust you ever again, even if there are clues dropped. So I think if someone's going to betray someone, just have a super friendly NPC do it,
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, everyone plays different, so play how you want, I guess.
Yeah.
Within your group. If your group isn't going to go on a witch hunt every game after that against you, then go for it.
Yeah, right. And I definitely see that happening.
Yes. Our group, I can think of two players, and it's nothing against them, but we have two players that would definitely not trust the next character that that player made. Absolutely, that would happen.
Yeah. Do you have any rules to have hacked into CNC from another system? We play pretty much straight.
The initiative system is the only thing I can think of.
Initiative in CNC is 1d10 per
straight.
PC.
Yeah, straight
flat roll. I wanted to add dexterity into that, so I have the players roll a d6 and they add their dex bonus, and then the monsters are just rolling a d6. I considered having monsters roll a d10 because they don't generally have a dex bonus, but I think it's better to let the players have a better shot of beating the enemies. I think especially in a system that's based on first edition, it's just more deadly, and so I think that gives the players a little bit of an advantage, and I don't think it's enough to make a real big deal. That the gold for XP thing. Other than that, like I think my travel, I think I've kind of simplified traveling across the hexes and stuff. other than that, I think everything's pretty much straight out of the book. Do you guys have anything that you can think of that?
No, for me,
changed?
the initiative thing is the only thing that came to mind.
I don't have a Castle Keeper guide, so I have no idea what you changed.
Yeah. Not wanting to kill a monster or enemy. I don't. Yeah, but that's only because you guys didn't want to get into a fight and get killed.
No, that's not true. You're talking about the fire giants. There have been early on in our campaign when we were low level. We were pretty much smacking around anything that we could find. Experience. We got to get the experience. And my character, he's lawful good. And at one point I said, we're chasing after a pack of wolves. Why? This pack of wolves is 40 miles away from town. It's in no danger to anyone. It's a pack of wolves living out in the wilderness doing what wolves do. We don't need to kill these guys. And so we didn't. We started to avoid stuff like that. As long as it's not an evil monster, we will typically let it be nowadays. We have begun not pursuing lower level evil monsters. There's no point in a group of 8th level characters chasing down a band of 20 orcs. We're going to slaughter the orcs. They have no chance at all. And we're going to get 5 experience apiece.
Right.
And 5 copper. It's not worth the effort.
Gold. Yeah.
Yeah. And our rationalization was, we know these orcs are out here. When we get back to town, we'll tell the other group, the low level, the alts, and they can come out and they can have a good fight and get something out of it. Plenty of times where we have not wanted to kill a monster or enemy for either our own survival or just not really necessary to kill these guys.
Yeah, and that's something that works out well in this kind of style of game, because of like what he just said is the higher the players get in level, it kind of because the XP that they need doubles every level. It kind of forces the players to go after higher and higher level things. They can't just kill bands of orcs all the time, so they end up leaving the lower level stuff out there, and then that's something that lower level characters can go after and do that.
Well, another thing too is in this game, Roger has it so monster, like, just example, say there's Hex 1 and Hex 2. If we completely destroy everything in Hex 2, then something in Hex 1 might go, that's kind of an open area I could move into. Is it
right?
Are there more resources or more, something over there that I want to go? So clearing the hex completely of all the enemies is really not always a good idea, because sometimes you open yourself up to, we're traveling on our way back and now there's stronger monsters. There's a problem that's just created by it,
Sure. D10 initiative. Yeah, but it's group initiative. Yeah. I really like group initiative. But I don't know. I really like it. I would use it. I think it would be a problem in a lot of play groups, because how to put this right, people need an order of how they're going to go, and I think that having that number to count down or whatever, I think it's like, it's your go, you go do the thing, and instead of like with group initiative, I think things will take longer because the group will spend more time deciding who's going to go when and whatnot. That's my thoughts on that. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, especially for our current group.
Well, I've played Daggerheart, as you know, and that is one of my problems with the system is there's no set order, and we make it work. Like, you haven't gone yet, so you go. But I mean, and I don't own the Daggerheart book, but I think technically someone could go just 5 times in a row without anyone else doing anything, and it's a pain in the butt.
Wow. Yeah. I really like, and this is really a reach out there. And I don't know if any of you guys have done this with me, but Popcorn Initiative, which is basically whoever ends up acting first. They do their thing, and then they say who's going to go next. So, and then until everybody goes, but that includes the monsters. So if it was like the three of us and then say there's like two groups of bad guys, right? I could say, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to smash these guys. And then Jason goes and he's going to say, okay, I'm going to see, go to Jason. Jason says, okay, I'm going to go in and smash this guy and try and kill him. And then, and then he gives it to Joe. And then Joe goes, well, then the problem is now you're at the end of the round. So both groups of monsters are going to go. But since, the first group of monsters went and then there's nobody else to go. So the last group of monsters have to go. Now, the beginning of the next round, everybody's available again. The monsters can choose the first group of monsters and then the second group of monsters. So you'll have like them go like in order. So it kind of forces the players to say, okay, maybe three of us go and do this. And then we have the monsters go. And then, you go from there with it. It's kind of an interesting take, but I think that would take too long at the table. We did it in a superheroes game a handful of years back, and it worked. It worked fairly well. Weapon specialization rules from Hyperborea. Yeah, we just use the CNC specialization rules that seems to work. We've not seen slow down rounds. It's been the opposite. And that's great. I'm glad that it that it's worked out for you that way. But I don't know. I think with our group, it would slow it down with people trying to decide some of that stuff. Maximum amount of goblins. So it's funny. These guys fought 200 gnolls. And gnolls are 2 hit dice, and goblins are like 3/4 of a hit die. It's like they're like 1d8 -1. So I mean, and that was when you guys were like 5th or 6th level.
I think Yohai might have been 6th. I don't recall.
So now you guys are 8th and 9th level.
Yeah.
So I mean, I bet that the group could probably, I don't know, 500, 1,000 goblins.
It depends on the situation, the terrain. Like we were fighting outside of Ruin Castle, so we were able to back up into to kill zones and keep everything to our advantage. If you stuck us in the middle of an open plain surrounded by 500 goblins, we're dead. Eventually they're gonna hit us. So
So
at some point we got to sleep too. So
a lot. Definitely a lot. Yeah,
that was a fun fight. The 200 gnolls. That was fun.
Yeah, and I couldn't hit the cleric, Jason's character, once.
That's right.
Not
the whole fight
until we got in the basement. Till we got in the basement, you guys found the women, and then the women hit you like twice.
2 of them got natural 20s on me to hit me, and I'm like, what?
It was crazy. But I must have swung. I don't know. I must have swung at you 200 times at least. And not gotten a single natural 20. It's just.
In fact, that was when Joe just joined us as Pox as his thief, because I was telling him, "Stay behind me." Stay behind me.
I listened. I listened. That's why I'm still alive.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fun. Fun times. So, so we've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes. Wow, time flies, doesn't it?
Incredible.
So, I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff, about West Marches and stuff that I was gonna try and go over. We got to most of it though, I think. I'm just looking at my notes. Introduction. What is a West Marches game? We did that. High runway game system. Tools. We used Discord for everything. I think we mentioned that. And that's really where we do the scheduling and stuff like that. The story, like I said, I just have bits of the story scattered around everywhere. And instead of having like an overarching thing for villains, I just have, they just have goals and things that kind of get progressed. But that's about that. Riley, with these questions today. Has anybody in a campaign ever gone to jail? Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Some campaigns we start in jail, and yeah, people have gotten in trouble in campaigns and have gone to jail. That's definitely a thing that's happened. And then it makes more. Now the rest of the group has something to do. They have to, break that person out or whatever.
convince the law that this person needs to be released.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Because you don't always have to break the law to get somebody out of jail.
Yeah. We've had players, not in, I don't know if you guys have been in any of these games. I don't think so, but we had a game where someone got imprisoned by with the deck of many things. He drew the imprisonment card or whatever that says he's like in a different plane, prison, the dungeon, and the group was like, "Oh, we got to find him." Like they just turned like, forget the main mission, like we're gonna do this thing. So now, coincidentally, at the same time, Gene's character, I believe, pulled the card where you get a 4th level fighter as a servant. Then the other guy got imprisoned, and so he just played the character, the 4th level fighter.
Awesome. That's
like,
great.
This is my character now, my lady. That
very cool.
And it sort of worked out.
Did they end up rescuing the guy?
And yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he was like imprisoned by like some, Baylor or something somewhere. And it was just
cool.
Just the thing. And but they were like, no, we're going after him. I'm like, well, there's this whole no, we don't care. This is the
got to get our dude out.
The focus now. You're gonna do the thing, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't need these notes for 2 months. We're gonna.
There's the improvisation we were talking. The improvisation we were talking.
Yeah, about. Right. Improvisation. Yeah. Angered royalty. Riley, where do you come up with these questions? I can't.
It's Elder Scrolls based questions.
I can't talk about if anyone has angered royalty and what the consequences were for this campaign, because the answer to that is yes, they have. And
they have. Yes, we have.
The consequences haven't.
Is very displeased with us.
The consequences haven't really arisen yet. So we'll ask me in a couple months. Talk about that again.
You do that while I'm gone, and
yeah,
so I don't have to worry about it.
Maybe. Oh boy, what are we gonna do without a cleric? They're gonna. Well, no, because we've got cleric number 2 now.
Yeah, Ken's cleric.
Ken's cleric. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. So I mean, this is that's basically what I got. Like I said, we're at almost the 2-hour mark here, so which is longer than I expected to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was fun. I mean, I'd love to have you guys back and just talk about stuff. I know Jason. I know you and I can talk about gaming.
We
and
talk
stuff
often
forever. And so I mean, but no, there's definitely some things that that I'd like to have some videos on and whatnot, and be able to discuss. It's nice to be able to discuss it with somebody face to face. Joe, you're obviously we talk a lot as well, not as much as Jason and I talk, but you're hopefully you had a good time, and you're welcome back. Obviously,
I would have disconnected. I would have made up an excuse to leave if I was having a bad time.
The power went out again.
People seem to like the cats anyway. So that was
I got to get your viewership up with the cats.
Cats on the internet are probably going to get us 50 extra views at least.
Maybe Jason can get his out next time.
Well, here's mine.
So, oh, there you go. Yeah,
that's my girl Coletti there.
Thankfully, I'm upstairs in the game room, and there are no animals allowed up here. So, that's it's fantastic. I love it. But so that's that's pretty much that. I hope that that you guys enjoyed the discussions, and we'll try and schedule this again for sometime in a couple weeks. I think Jason will be gone in a couple weeks, but we'll try and find a topic and see who's available to jump on and go from there.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Ducato.
Thanks, Ducato.
We'll definitely do it again soon. We'll definitely be in talks about CNC. Maybe we'll have you come on and we could talk about CNC. That'd be an interesting chat, I think. So,
and Noodle, I promise I am not just I'm not just negative Nancy all the time. I really do enjoy playing D&D.
So yeah, so we'll see you guys later on.
All right.
All right,
Awesome.
Take care.
Thanks.